All right, so today I'm going to be tackling the light mess. So if you look, there's a plate light and frame mounted where the fender tip light goes, and then you can see those black kind of retro lights that are running and turn signal lights. And then this bar right here on both sides is LEDs. So since I put the tour pack back on, I'm bringing it back to the stock look. So the light bar is going to go back on, the fender tip light will get back on, and then those lights, the marker lights, are going to come off. So that's the plan. And I think I'm going to have to pull the rear wheel so I can get up underneath and get to the bolts for the stock light bar, because they bolt in from the back side. So it's gonna be a fun event, and hopefully I can get it done today, but at least over the next couple of days. So that's another bike checklist item to get done, and then once that's done, I'll move on to what I have next, and then changing the oil and checking all the fluids and everything and getting ready for my trip at the end of the month. So let's get to it. All right, so I had to break for a while and go to my daughter's musical, which was awesome and fun. But before I left, I got the light bar situation looking pretty good, but if you notice on the fender right here, we got a pretty big hole where the bolts mount, and I've also got a pretty big hole right there. So what that means is it's turned into a little bit more than I wanted to mess with, but I have no choice. I got to fix that before I can go forward. So looks like a little body and fender. All right, so it's the next day. I got to figure out something to do with this fender. It's got a couple of holes where the stock light bar went. So I got to clean it up and patch it, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but nonetheless it needs to get done. So let's get to it. What I ended up doing is I took a fender washer and squared it up, and then I inserted it in the back side of the fender, tacked it up, and then later on I made a oval shaped washer to kind of reinforce the front, and then when it got bolted together, it was pinching the fender between the two washers. Once the welding was done, I smeared in a little spot putty to clean things up. I also smeared some seam sealer on the back sides of the washers, and you can kind of see it through the holes in the next video. Alright, so I was able to weld up the holes. You can see it's not the cleanest finish on there, but I'll probably pull the fender off and paint the whole thing and fix that to make it look a little better, but largely it's going to be covered by the hardware of the light bar. So once I get it back together, I'll show you what I did. There's some scrapes here, some scrapes here. I filled those in with a little touch up and then wet sanded it, and I got to buff it out, but you know, 32 years old, so we'll get back to it. Okay, so I wrapped this thing up yesterday, and I'll show you what I got going on. I had some lost footage. I don't know if I forgot to hit the record button, or if the camera / phone just didn't work. I don't know. I lost the footage. So what I did here is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a washer that I cut. It was a fender washer, and I cut the sides off and made it kind of an oval shape, like I said earlier, for both sides. So I pinched the fender between the washer that I welded to the back side, and then of course I tacked up the fender and then sanded it down. And you know, it's not the straightest, but it's fine for what it is now. Probably over the winter I'll yank the fender off, and then I can clean up, you know, this scrape that's under here and what have you. So I bought the paint, and even maybe if I get some downtime over the summer, I can do it. But for now, that's what I got going on. And then I got a new oil sender unit coming, because this one is offshore and it's bouncing all over the place. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to make myself an extended foot pedal. So that will happen hopefully in the next couple of days, which will give me room for my highway pegs, and then an oil change and a couple of small minor details, and I'm ready to go on the trip. So I'd like to thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you on the next one.